The captain quietly pours a small bottle of vodka into his fruit juice. Seeing that no one notices, he pours in a second one. He casually tosses the empty bottle into the trash, then downs his spiked orange juice in one gulp. The flight attendant detected the smell of alcohol, but she had grown accustomed to it. The co-pilot, however, is stunned. This is his first time flying with this captain. The disbelief is written all over his face. At this point, the captain had already fallen into a deep sleep. Judging by the chief steward's reaction, this was clearly not the first time the captain had done this. Fortunately, the flight goes smoothly, and they're almost there. The co-pilot has taken over the controls for descent, when suddenly the aircraft starts shaking violently. Passengers and crew jump in their seats, except for the captain who just woke up, and stays completely calm. The co-pilot notices the elevator control seems to be failing. The captain calmly asks the cabin crew to reassure the passengers, but a moment later, the plane nosedives sharply. A flight attendant who didn't make it back to her seat in time gets thrown across the cabin. The co-pilot desperately pulls on the air brakes, but the plane keeps plummeting. In the cabin, everyone holds their breath. The captain immediately contacts air traffic control, reporting that they need to make an emergency landing. But at this rate of descent, their odds of survival are nearly zero. To slow the aircraft down, the co-pilot, following the captain's instructions, dumps all the fuel. But the situation doesn't improve. After receiving air traffic control clearance, the aircraft's fuel tanks were jettisoned, but this caused the overhead luggage compartment to rupture. A flight attendant tries to handle the situation, but the plane's violent shaking caused her to lose consciousness. The plane is hurtling straight toward the ground. At this moment, the captain makes a shocking call. He decides to flip the plane upside down. The co-pilot is floored. After asking the head flight attendant to pass his final words along to his son, the captain immediately begins the maneuver. The cabin starts to tilt, and at that point, neither the passengers nor the crew know what's coming next. With help from the co-pilot and head flight attendant, the captain manages to retract the landing gear and flips the plane at just 800 meters above the ground. The flight attendant who had fallen is now slammed against the ceiling, and a young boy gets thrown from his seat because his seatbelt wasn't fastened properly. Seeing this, the flight attendant rushes over to him, and with everything she has, pulls him back into his seat. Although the plane momentarily stops descending, fuel leakage caused the aircraft to lose power, and it won't be able to reach the airport. On top of that, the engines catch fire. Faced with a cascade of failures, the captain makes another bold call: find a spot for an emergency landing. The priority now is to get the plane right side up again. However, the flight attendant who had been helping the boy didn't make it back to her seat in time, and passes out. The cabin is in chaos, and the failures keep coming. Somehow, the plane manages to right itself, but now both engines are completely gone, and the aircraft is gliding. Ahead of them, a wide open field suddenly gives way to a church. Despite the captain's best efforts to adjust the angle, he can only watch helplessly as one wing clips the church. At this moment, all the occupants of the cabin can only wait for their fate, watching the plane hurtle toward the ground.